So back with the Dirty Hands Clean Money podcast. Got Levi Gibson on today. How you doing, brother?
Hey man, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. If you could introduce yourself a little bit, that'd be great.
Yeah, no, my name's Levi Gibson. I'm the owner of the shop, Get Creative. It's a e-commerce wholesale procurement brand where we source and print apparel and ship it all over the country, all over the world.
So we've been working together for, a little under a month now. And you've been doing some really great stuff recently, scrolling through Instagram and stuff. You've got, just recently posted a bunch of pictures with a bunch of hats and stuff like that. Um, how many, products do you think you put out in a week?
So we count our products that we ship, and right now we're up around 1,500 actual packages a week. But we have maybe each package comes with like sometimes a t-shirt, sometimes t-shirt, hat, and hoodie. It really just depends on the brand and what they're trying to ship. So, 1,500 packages can equate to a couple thousand, products.
For sure. And you guys do a lot of stuff. I mean, t-shirts, hats, hoodies, literally anything you promote promotional wise, right?
Yeah, so we basically focus on trying to help our clients resell goods. So if somebody has, a good Instagram following or a social following or a business that is trying to sell apparel, we basically give them the tools needed to be successful in that endeavor, whether it's ads, design, printing, whatever it is.
And we've been working together on that, building websites and stuff like that, and working on getting people set up. Um, the big thing for people is they don't know really how to go about setting up merch or getting stuff done. I think the big thing is finding someone like yourself that's already got a large scale, production going that will really help people out.
Yeah, absolutely. What I found is that people were using these bulk print suppliers, like the local t-shirt, screen printing company. And, they kind of paved the way for the rest of us. So I'm not trying to throw any shade their way, but they're kind of stuck in the old way of doing things. People want like low quantity minimums to get started. And so my business is completely designed around helping a guy, or gal start from the beginning, where they don't have a ton of capital. We want people to invest their money on their ads, on their reach, on their website, so that way they can be more successful in the long run. And we try to make the production process more like a print on demand with a bulk quality, a bulk run quality to all the gear we do.
I mean, there's a lot of guys out here that are like killing themselves over merchandise, like trying to source it and paying like a buttload of money, making just like $2-3 a t-shirt, and I think there's a lot of room when it comes to that stuff. And, merchandise shouldn't be something I personally think that should be taken, super seriously, unless you're running a clothing brand, of course. I think, merchandise is just an extra source of revenue, especially when, for myself running manufacturing businesses. I mean, it's not like a main priority to push merchandise, but I think it's I mean, extra income, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the way we've positioned ourselves. We realize that, apparel's not it's not going to make or break your business, like you said, unless you're running like a brand. Like I run several brands. I have, 12 different brands that are their sole products are apparel. But oftentimes the core of my business are people that, have some other motive and goal. And we basically are just giving them another revenue stream. A lot of times, my clients will be sitting at dinner, sitting at their, bonfire or whatever they're having. And, their e-commerce store is just cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And it's pulling in money, even while they're working on their other projects, So that's how we've positioned ourselves. We want people to be able to, make money while they're essentially making money on other things. It's a passive source of income for a lot of my clients.
And merchandise will really do that. I know when we first got it set up, I know we really haven't come out with anything for Thunder Customs, at least when it comes to, more merchandise designs. It's just kind of sitting there on the website. And people are taking to it pretty well. I mean, I just posted on Instagram, say, hey, they're available. I don't really promote them or nothing like that. And they take pretty well. I mean, realistically, if I had the time to throw a couple more designs together, I would love to. But There's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff going on. We're designing, working on a magazine for Cold Steel Marketing Group. That's gonna be pretty fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things, not to hop back just to the apparel, but just one of the things that I get the most pleasure out of doing apparel is that, I have a client that gives back, and I want people to grow. So like, for instance, I have a guy that wants to do some big things, with his main vision, and he was struggling to finance that. So we were able to bring in the apparel line and help him finance what his main goal was. He worked with us for about 30 days, and inside that 30 days, he invested about $250 and was able to pull in about $1,500, $2,000 in sales, or in profit rather, about $4,000 in sales. So we were able to really help him pull, the money together to get him started on his next thing, like, a magazine run, or, something else. We use the apparel to fund our other projects.
And I think merchandise, realistically is a great way to do that, because there's a lot of guys out there I know purchasing, a $300-400 exhaust tip sometimes can be a big chunk of change, especially now with COVID and everything like that, and people getting off. The big thing, to support brands through merchandise, $15 to $20 shirt, $15 to $20 hoodie or hat, realistically is probably the next best way to support a brand. And merchandise does wonders, even if it's just a sticker, or you know
Absolutely. And
we rep that hard.
we see the biggest, when you can combine merchandise with your other goals and use it to make it relevant to an end. Like, for instance, we do a lot of charity work, a lot of school work where we're giving back to the boosters, or say somebody's got some kind of tragedy in their life and they're trying to come up with funds to address the tragedy. We have a lot of local communities, like one of my clients, Rotten Heart Society. They basically give back to the homeless in Columbus, Ohio. They use every bit of the store's profits to turn around and put meals out for the people that are less fortunate. So that's the part of my job that's the most rewarding. It's just people helping people, giving back, helping people reach their goals. And my line of work has really given me an avenue to do that. So apparel's like the affect of my main goal as well, and I'm just trying to help other people make it.
And we do a lot of, I do a lot of other charity things for small kids. Like we do garden tractor pulling, completely off topic. We do garden tractor pulling, hot rod pulling. And we also own like a pedal pull sled and a bunch of pedal tractors and stuff like that. And doing that out in the 100-degree weather realistically ain't fun, but it's awesome to see those kids smile. And um, without us, there most likely wouldn't be someone that would have done that for them. 110 degrees. I know their parents are sitting over in the shade just dying, but to see their kids do stuff like that, and just to see the sometimes not even getting paid for it, just seeing that smile is just great.
Absolutely, man. We do a ton of that type of work. We'll do stuff like that to help fund football cleats, baseball gloves, all kinds of stuff. We work with the parks office down here and everybody else. And that's really the best part about my job. I've kind of become an expert in how to buy gear, how to produce gear, how to buy promotional products, so that way my clients can turn around and sell them for a pretty high profit. And they're able to use those profits for, a lot of times the only people I work with are people with like good motives and people that aren't just being selfish in their own needs. They're trying to give back to the community. So it's a really good system to use to, either get your business started, give back, kind of change your stars, so to speak.
Because you do this full time, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Of
From sun up
course.
to sundown.
um and how long did it take you to grow to the space you're at now?
To be honest, I've been at it for 15 years. I started out as a pre-press guy for an offset printing company. And I really didn't think that I was ever going to do fashion or be a clothing designer or creator. And just so happens that every new venture led me in a different direction that ultimately put me here. And I've used all those tools over the years to kind of put it all together. It's like every little chapter of my life, was a puzzle that, a puzzle piece that put me back into where I'm at now. So, I started out, like I said, in offset printing, and that moved into design. Design moved into promotional products into apparel, and then now, I run my own shop.
And we've kind of talked about owning clothing brands and stuff like that. How many different side, businesses and clothing brands do you run?
Right now, I have my store, getcreative.store, that is going under construction right now because we've blown up so much. And inside of that, there's about 35, 40 different individual stores. And then I have 12 separate brands that are either I'm a partner in or I'm a major player in how they produce their gear.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty sick. What's your goal to be at? Where do you see yourself in the next 10, 15 years with this?
Honestly, my goal is to be able to have a manufacturing plant and the system down to where people can put up very little money and build their revenue stream, almost a la carte. I'm working on things right now to where, people can basically sign up for like $150 and come out the other end with a one-page website and all the tools to be able to resell anything that they want, from lanyards to Yeti cups to, apparel, hats, marketing, all the whole works. That's where I'm headed. And it's all kind of coming together to where, say, if you're, in the diesel space, and you've got, a sizable amount of followers, it's usually around 2,000 or more. I can help you make profit off of that. And I want to be able to expand to where, whether you're in the diesel space, you're a local high school, you've got a youth elite team or something. I want to be able to give everybody the opportunity to take what I've learned over the last 20 years and turn it around so that way they can do something good in their life.
Yeah, and realistically, do you think it's smarter, let's say, as a 25-year-old to, take that initiative to build a brand, or do you think it's smarter? Do you think it's, I guess the question is, do you think it's smarter to build a brand or to start their own, print on demand, kind of what you do?
Honestly, what I think is, there's so much to be learned about the manufacturing and putting those puzzle pieces together. I would say for people to be real with themselves, focus on getting themselves out there and let a guy like me help facilitate that goal. And not because, I want to earn money off that person or anything. Just one of my mentors always say, like, live in the world the way that it is and not the way that you want it to be. And if you're outgoing and you have a reach and you have something to offer, which everybody does, if they just be themselves, everybody's got a uniqueness that they can offer to the world. So, what I try to do is say, you go be that guy, be yourself, just let it out, give people what they want. And let me be the guy behind the scenes, giving you the tools to, make a profit off of that.
And realistically, if you're sitting out there and you're even younger, say you're just fucking, I don't know, 16, 17, 18 years old, and you got like a grand laying around, you can start a business with that. um
Absolutely.
there's so many, with the social media space now, it's unbelievable what you can do with what we have going on. You can grab, go to Levi, pick up, well, first, start with a concept, pick whatever you like to do, because you're not gonna, don't pick something that you think is gonna pop off. Pick something you like to do, because then if you don't like it, you're not gonna succeed. And I mean, that's with anything, but pick something you like to do, because then you'll be able to market it better, because then it. And
Yeah.
realistically,
Cool.
pick it up, go to Fiverr, you know, pick 5, 6 guys, spend $50, get a cool design down, and then head over to Levi and figure some stuff out.
Absolutely. There's a guy that I work with, named Grant Furness, and he's a great designer. And the way we kind of work is just that. People try to jump from zero to hero, and they don't want to do any push-ups in between. So like what I tell people is don't be afraid to fail. Failure is where you learn. If you're that 20-year-old kid, 25-year-old kid, and you've got big dreams, you have to actually put in the work. You have to mess up. You have to try things and it not work out in order to know what the right thing to do is. In life, there's things things that you don't know about. And then there's a whole world of stuff that you don't even know exists. And the whole game of life and in this business is moving things out of that world of things that you don't know exist into that you know about them but don't necessarily know how to execute it, and then finally over into you know about them and you can execute it. So what I tell people to do is just start off. If anybody's looking to try and get their thing going, you hit up a guy like my dude Grant Furness. So he helps you get your artwork done, start up from the ground up, get your brand established as far as like from a creative space. And then after that, you could come over to me and we help finalize the website, the products, and how we're going to make money off of that artwork. And while those things are happening and my team is working, you could be focusing on, getting your podcast going, starting your reach, showing up at shows, doing whatever you need to do to kind of get your name out there. So that way the team behind the scenes can help you make that happen. But as a 25-year-old guy, you got so much time, man. I'm 35. I'll be 36 this year. And if I would have known that I could have just basically spent my entire 20s trying things out and failing and learning what I wanted to do, I could be 10 years ahead of where I am right now. I played it safe for too long. And, my advice to that kid would just be, just do it. Just, try something, figure it out. If you like it, if you don't like it, then move on to the next thing and just keep things rolling. You got plenty of time to figure out what's right, but learn from those failures, pivot, go in a new direction. And each time keep what you learned. And by the time you're 35, 36 years old, man, you're really going to know what it is that you want to do and how to put those pieces together to make what you want to make.
Yeah, and realistically, people don't buy product, people buy stories. So let's say you can come up, it could be simple shit, come up with something you like. I mean, find a design that you think really resonates with yourself, throw it on a t-shirt, throw on a couple hats, send it to people, send it to, people with 10, 20,000 followers and say, hey, keep this. If you like it, you don't, if you like it, keep it. If I could get some pictures with it, you in the merch, that'd be awesome. If you don't like it, it is what it is. You have to take those lessons. You have to spend money. The
Yeah,
initial, the
absolutely.
initial is expensive.
What I tell people is that it is expensive, but you got to dump money into it. You got to put time into it without the expectation of money back. And I'm not saying to make bad business decisions, but the cash that you receive in the long run, I didn't start really making good money until after I stopped thinking about money. I started to focus on the content, the quality of the things that I'm doing and giving back. I put my energy into the world without expectation of getting anything in return. And it just so happens that the world will reward you for that. So when you're trying to grow your brand, you're trying to grow your business, don't focus on, I've got to make money right now. What you focus on is, I'm going to put something into the world, and is what I'm putting into the world going to give somebody else value? If it does, then in turn and in time, money will return to you. If it doesn't give any value, then you're going to have to pivot, and you just pivot and learn and, do a little bit, soul searching, and then try again. And what happens is over time, you help so many people out that it all comes full circle. You talk to somebody that talked to somebody that talked to somebody that is now using your services that you never would have gotten had you went to that person directly. So sometimes the lumps is what makes you, who you are.
Yeah, and social media is your friend, realistically. Like yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. Last night, no, it was 2 nights ago. 2 nights ago, we posted Thunder Customs posted a video on TikTok. We got that forest overlay done, and it was doing all right. I mean, I was watching it. It was getting like, I don't know, 10,000 views, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. 1,000 likes or whatever. And I was just scrolling through TikTok, just taking a break, and there was this video, and I saw it before, but there was a duet on it. There were two guys going back and forth about how big their exhaust tips were, and I have two 16-inch tips sitting on my office couch right now, and just flip those up and say, hey, you guys got to get bigger than that. Not really thinking it was gonna go as viral as it did. I mean, I'll pull it up now. It's changing as we go through the day, but TikTok is crazy. It's stupid crazy. As of right now, it's been out for 28 hours. It's got 478,000 views and 90,000 likes. And it's been up less than 2 days, less than,
Yeah.
a day and a half. And that's just because I was like, whatever, let's make some stupid TikTok. I don't think it's going to go viral or anything like that.
Right.
But yeah, and I probably Friday morning, I was sitting at 200 followers and like 1,000 likes. And now I'm sitting at 8,000 followers and 107,000 likes.
Absolutely, bro. And the truth of what I just said and what you just proved is that you were just being yourself. You know, for so many years, I was kind of like, I use my professional voice when I talk. I tried to, I went to work in a suit and tie for so long. Like, what I learned is that people recognize authenticity, people recognize real. And if you just be yourself, that 25-year-old kid, like you said, if you just be yourself, put yourself out in the world, there's so many people being fake right now that's a super huge advantage. People recognize that. And whether it's just you being goofy, you being who you are, just letting it out into the world, the universe will pay you for that. When you combine being original, unique with giving back and not being money focused and being results focused, process focused, the sky's the limit for you. By the time you're 35, 40 years old, you'll have everything you ever wanted in life.
I mean, realistically, take a couple hours out of your day. Take 3 hours of your day for the next year. And if you're not at a business valuation of $250,000 in a year, I'm going to be disappointed in you, because realistically, and it's not really knowing how to run a business. It's just be yourself. You don't even have to be in front of the camera. If you're like camera shy, don't want to talk, you can get people to do that for free for you. You just need to
Yeah.
know how to talk yourself up. And the big thing is starting, and we kind of talked about putting that big initial in. If you
Yeah.
had an initial of $500 to $1,000, you're fucking set, because realistically, you want to get people interested in an idea before you actually make something. But you don't want to go so far, deep dive into it that you're gonna like, kill
Well,
yourself,
yeah.
because there's gonna
And
be too much, aspect in it.
you can't say that you can't have the whole plan worked out all at once. Like when I started out in t-shirts, I never thought that I was going to do e-commerce. It was kind of like, I was helping a buddy that needed something. And, the e-commerce aspect of it came later. you know it was like a learning experience. You know what I'm saying? So like most people start out their businesses with one focus, that this is what I'm going to do. And then after a year in, you're doing something completely different because you learned that that's what you really wanted. you know just to go back to your point about having $1,000, I mean, think about how many people are blindly just spending their stimmy money on PS5s and whatever. They're not reinvesting it back in their life, or stocks or anything like that. And it reminds me of one of my mentors. What he told me is he said, Levi, you're living your life. You're hopping in a car, you're driving down the road, and you have no idea where you're going. You didn't pack your bags, you didn't save up money. He said you need to think about it when you go on a real road trip. How far you're traveling. Do you have enough gas to get there? Do you have enough money? Where are you going to stay when you get there? Did you pack the right type of clothes? Like, are you driving to Florida? Are you driving to New York? Do you need hoodies or shorts? What do you need in order to make this road trip successful? And a lot of people need to just think about their business that way. What they focus on is, I'm going to have a business that's going to pay me this amount of money. But they don't have, how do I get from where I'm at now to that other point? How do I get the money from my clients' pockets into my bank? And the truth is that they'll do that willingly if you build the right process. So when you hop in your car, that is your business or your life, you want to drive through your life and in your business as if you know where you're going. You want to pack the right clothes. You want to pack, enough money so you can pay for the gas to get there. You want to be focused on it. You can't expect to end up where you're supposed to end up. If you just hop in the car and start driving, you're going to end up somewhere unfamiliar. If I'm trying to get to Florida and, so to speak, as an analogy, I'm trying to get to Florida and I hop in the car and I end up in Arizona. When I get to Arizona, I'm not going to have anything that I need to be successful. And your business is the same way. You got to look at it that simple minded, one step at a time, one process at a time. As you grow, you got to put the right tools in place based on, this is where I'm headed. You can't just say, I'm going to be a business owner and then all of a sudden just expect it to happen. You've got to put yourself out there, and you got to actually pay attention to the road you're on, the path you're traveling. You get this $1,400 stimulus check, and you play Xbox all day, spending money on, pizza and Uber and whatever you need, by the end of the month, you don't have that 1,400 anymore. Where a guy like me, I take that 1,400, I put so much in stocks, I put so much in new equipment, I put so much into, a budget that I'm going to use to be able to offer new products. I'm going to turn that $1,400 into $10,000 by next month because I'm working so hard, trying to learn how to flip money. And and I'm just being myself while I'm doing it. And it's all just coming back to me because I'm focused on my goal. I don't just think that I'm, just going to snap my fingers and all of a sudden I'm a business owner and it's all going to work out. I'm focused. I got a plan. If I fail, that's fine. I pivot, and that's how I kind of handle the whole situation. A lot of people just kind of run through life. They don't know where they're going. They're just driving down the road. They have no idea what's coming next.
Definitely. And to take off of that, I mean, realistically, Levi and I aren't any smarter than you guys are, the people listening to this podcast.
Absolutely.
Realistically, just what I kind of, go off of is every sense of education is free. Like right now you're getting fucking, $1 million advice and it's not anything crazy. I mean, and you're just sitting here listening in your truck, driving to work, your shitty job. I know you don't want to go to work and I know you don't want to get out of that truck and you're sitting in the parking lot scrolling through TikTok for the last 5 minutes till you got to go, bust your ass for 10 hours. But, you think about that. If you work for 10 hours and realistically, 2 of those hours, you take that amount of money and put towards something you want to do, you can do it. And, it's about being consistent. I mean, we've talked about this on a different podcast. I used to run a theme page for Instagram, and in one day, just because I grew 2,000 followers because I did 112 shout out for shout outs in one day. I mean, it took probably 7 hours, but that's 2,000 followers. That's, probably, I don't know, it was like 1,200 active followers, at the end of the day, but that's a lot. I mean, for the page was probably at 15,000 followers, which is massive, but realistically, we're not 10 times, 100 times smarter than anyone, listening to this podcast.
Absolutely, man. And it's, and I've never approached my business dealings like that at all, and anything that I'm ever trying to do, I'm just trying to be helpful. Like I said in the beginning of this, if you put something positive into the world, you're going to get something positive, 1.5 times back. It's an investment. I really feel like, karma is real. And, for anybody listening that wants to make something of themselves, want to grow, that's all it is. You put positivity into the world, you put yourself out there, you go for the risk, you take the chance, you're going to get something in return. It'll either be a lesson, or a step in the right direction.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing is you can't not know where you're going. You have to be able to set a plan-ish. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect because it's not going to go to the T, but figure out what you want. Figure out what you want in 365 days, in 2 years, in 5 years, in 10 years. Figure out where you want to be, set that, write it down, and look over it every now and then, every week. I would say every day. I read my goals and aspirations every night, all 390 of them every night. It takes me 17, 18 minutes, but I mean, it used to take me like 25, but I could probably say them out loud, probably have them memorized. But if you have to believe in this, and I kind of got this from Steve Harvey, not to, blah, 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 but you gotta write it down and make it play. I mean, I'm not a super religious guy, and you don't have to be, going to church 2 times a week or nothing like that, but you just got to believe, you're by putting yourself on the line with a business. It's just like believing in God. You're seeing something that doesn't exist. And the same thing with a business. You're seeing yourself in a position. If you can see yourself being there, then you will be there. You'll be right no matter what. If you think you can do it or you think you can't do it, you're right no matter what.
Absolutely.
And, business isn't fucking hard. People like, oh, it costs a lot of money to start a business, blah, blah, blah. You don't even need business shit for the first $100 you make, don't worry about it.
You
IRS
know,
ain't gonna kill you.
the best thing that I
Please,
learned from,
IRS, don't listen to this and kill me.
yeah, the best thing that I ever learned is in business and in life, the things that you worry about most never happen the way that you think. Most people don't take the risk because they're like, I'm gonna lose all this, or I'm gonna, they
Yeah,
have all these
exactly.
dreams, they're gonna win all this. What happens is the real world lies.
It's not
The
gambling
Yeah,
like people think it is.
exactly. The real world lies somewhere between your worst fear and your highest dream. And most people don't want to take a risk, or make a change in their life because they have this really nice paycheck, or they have their parents or somebody in their life telling them it's going to be stupid, don't do that. Or they're just afraid of what other people are going to think of them. And all of that's not going to matter. Gary Vee talks a lot about nursing homes, and if you've ever spent any time with your grandparents or anybody that's been at the twilight years, they'll tell you all the things that they regret. And that's what motivates me, man. I don't want to ever sit back and say, I didn't try, and before the shop got started, I worked in a family business, and I thought the whole time I was there that I would never survive without them. That I wasn't good enough to kind of do it on my own, that I needed that little bit of help. And what I found out is the complete opposite of that. That I was basically holding it up. That I was, that my skills and things that I've put together over the years have value to people. And to be honest, and you can attest to this, when we first started working together, you said, "Can you help me with this?" And you almost had to make me charge you for it. Because I just wanted to see how it worked. I wanted to see how I could help you so I could learn from that and grow from that. And doing that over and over and over again has made me uniquely positioned in this marketplace to be able to help a lot of people.
For sure. And
Yeah.
going off of that, there's a lot of okay. I think in about a month when things, maybe get a little more chilled out, maybe we don't have so much work to do. I think we should start a business. I think we should start a clothing business. You know, put in 30 minutes each a day. Put in 30 minutes each a day. So that's an hour total. And do it for, I don't know, 3-4 months. And if we can't, and then at that 3-4 month mark, if we grow enough following, we'll give it to someone. We'll give it away. You know, we'll
I
show
love that.
we'll show you how to grow it. Realistically, I mean, we'll have Levi do all the printing and the design work. I'll do all the social media work, and we can have this probably TikTok. Fuck, I mean, we could probably have an Instagram following at least 10,000 followers. I mean, if not 20, 30.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, I've been slacking on Thunder Customs. I mean, fuck, I gained 8,500 followers in like a day on TikTok. I wish that would have translated over to Instagram. I mean, it didn't. I got like 100 followers, which sucks. Even especially because my fucking Instagram's in the bio too. It sucks, but whatever. I got a couple sales though. That's pretty cool. I mean, probably $1,000 worth of sales just from that. That's pretty nice.
That's good.
But it's crazy how easy it is. And starting a business is not that scary. For me at least, LLC paperwork's $150. File it by yourself. It takes 20 minutes. A domain is $20. Shopify costs $30 a month. That's your setup. That's
Most
realistically your
people
setup.
most people spend that on their on their PlayStations or their Xboxes, or eating Chipotle or whatever a month. You know what I mean? If you could, if and a lot of times what people don't realize is that they're making choices every day. So like I tell my sons that like say for example in this situation, if you had a chance to where I said you could have a Shopify store and sell your clothing, and you had to give up your PlayStation monthly subscription, in order to be able to do that. And in 2 months, you'll have enough money to pay the PlayStation subscription for an entire year. Would you do that? And their answer is yes. But every day they don't make the choice to do that. They just keep paying that PlayStation subscription. And that's like goes back to that analogy that they're in the car. They don't know where they're going. Like if you make decisions like on an analytic basis, like if I do X, will it yield me this? Or if I do Y, will it yield me Z? It's like most people are not thinking clearly about the decisions they make. They get up in the morning, they go do the rat race, they come home, they eat dinner, they watch their sitcom, they play their video games, they spend time with their significant other, and they go to bed. And most people, that's what you want out of life. I'm not bred that way. I want more for myself. So I have to think about, how many hours in a day do I have? What am I going to spend those hours on? And I just put it together that way. I think about it that way. And a lot of people are probably listening to this and they're thinking like, how do these guys have this energy to do this all the time? I'm exhausted. I'm depressed. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Part of it is the rest. You have to give yourself time to rest when you're doing this stuff too. You can't just be, 2 feet in all the time, 100 miles an hour. You got to enjoy life too. That's the purpose of this. You know what I mean? But it's a healthy balance. And the difference between somebody that makes it and somebody that doesn't is the person that makes it is living in the world the way that it is. They're not shying away from their problems. They're solving them. They're actively working toward a goal. The people that don't make it, that don't have, big dreams, big goals, or just, woe is me, I can't catch a break. Those people inherently are not focused on the solution. They are just drowning in the problem. And that's really the difference between making it and not making it, man. You just gotta stay focused on what you're doing. You got to be awake at the switch.
Exactly. And, besides my guys at the shop, I mean, I work on Thunder Customs. I pulled up my schedule because we started talking about it, but I work on Thunder Customs about 25 hours a week. Okay. So that realistically to someone with a normal job is a lot, but, I work on CSG for about 10 hours a week. I mean, most of that's a recording podcast because right now it's just podcasts. You know, I've got 2 other business ventures that I'm actually really not allowed to talk about. But both of those combined, sitting at 25 hours again. And there's some extra stuff in there that I work on for some other people. I probably work business wise. I don't know. I try to push that 80 to 90 hour mark a week. Normally it hits about that 100, but I think 100 between that 80 and 100 mark. And a lot of people listening to this are probably like, what the fuck? I hear, people are like, I heard Elon Musk talk about that bullshit. I didn't actually think, no. And that's what it takes to be successful. And it's not like I work on one business for 100 hours. If I did, I'd probably be burnt out and I'd probably quit.
If you want what other people don't have, you have to be willing to do what other people won't do.
Exactly. And I get 4.5 hours of sleep, but I eat 5 times a day, which really offsets that. And, just meal prep all on Sunday for a whole week. And, you're set for the whole week. It only took you an hour. Really managing that time is great. And I think, compared to what I do work wise, I mean, I don't think of a lot of it's very fun to do because it's, creative time. I mean, you get to sit down and you brainstorm ideas, which is, not really work for me. So it's like, paperwork, bullshit, contracts, not the funnest, but it's the shit you got to do. But, I would say out of those 100 hours that I quote unquote work, I would say, maybe 25 are like hours I don't want to do it. The other time, great, fun stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what you got to find. You can't fucking want to do and there's been plenty of people that have said it. If you don't love it, you're not gonna do it for the rest of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if you could hear that, but like, just as an example, I've got my Shopify is, cha-chinging while we're talking, and it's not something that I ever thought, was going to happen. You know what I mean? Like I'm just, we're sitting here, we're doing a podcast, we're having fun, we're talking, getting to know each other, getting to know, what makes us tick, and while I'm sitting here, just hanging out doing this, I've got my passive income in the background making me money, and the way that happened and has come to be about is I took a chance. I took several chances in a row. Not every chance that I took worked out, but more chances worked out than didn't work out. And that's really the game.
Exactly. And, breaking down, people are like, oh, do you take a break? And I'm like, kind of. I mean, my downtime for the whole week is about 12 to 13 hours. And what, 7 times 4. So that's like, well, so like 3 of those hours is shower time. You know what I mean? Throughout the week, because I take 2 showers a day. And it just like helps me reset before I go to bed. And when I wake up, it's just a nice smooth transition into sleeping, because realistically your body does wants way more than 4.5 hours of sleep. But if you can train yourself, which takes a long time, there's plenty of alarms that I've missed. I mean, it's took me months to be able to sleep 4.5 hours and actually wake up to the alarms. And that's the hardest part. But I would say maybe 9 hours a day downtime. I can sit down, I can, scroll. Even when I fucking scroll through TikTok, I'm looking at business shit indirectly, which is
Yeah.
bad. And I need to stop doing that. I need to go fucking to a movie or some bullshit. But then I'll end up getting talking to someone, and then I'll get another sale or something. It never stops.
Yeah.
And that's good. That is great. If you can go and have your downtime, quote unquote, and you start thinking about your business, you're in the right avenue.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing is, man, anybody that's just thinking about starting out, like we're talking about different levels, different areas, there's a lot of information in this podcast that you can take, just take what you can and leave the rest, but if you take away anything from this, like if you don't take a chance on your dreams, it's never going to happen. You know what I mean? Like you'll be sitting at the barbecue with your grandkids talking about there was this one time I was going to try something and then I didn't. That's not really a good story, but the good story is when you're sitting there, hey, we were able to afford this house. We were able to build a life that, we were happy. And I was able to be an example for you because I took a risk when I thought I was going to fail. That's a much more intriguing story to teach your grandkids, and it's something that I think about often. What are the people following you and the people around you learning from your experience? If the answer is nothing, then that's who you are to the world. You have to put something in to get something out of it. Like a boxer says, it takes one sometimes to give one. And that's just really the way that it is, man. You got to take a chance. And, I'm not saying to leverage your house and, move to a different
Oh,
city
no,
and start
definitely
a
not.
sporting goods store. I'm saying,
Barstool
instead of
Sports
playing,
betting. Bet all your
yeah,
money.
exactly. Instead of playing Xbox for 4 hours, cut your Call of Duty time down to, 1 hour. Read a book that night, before you go to bed every night. Start reading a book. One of the greatest books that I
Fuck
ever read.
books. No, I'm just kidding.
That one of the books that I ever read that that really set me off on the right path and really explains that driving down the road aspect is the E-Myth Revisited. It's a great entrepreneur book that's not very long. It's not mundane. It's not going to make you pass out, but it's by Michael Gerber. It's the fifth edition. And I'm telling you, it's that in that book alone is so much knowledge that get you started, and you can follow that up by watching or reading, Gary Vee's books. His stuff is amazing too, but if you start out with that E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber, the fifth edition, that book right there is one of the best books that I ever am thankful that I read, because before I read that book, I was very much so just working the 9 to 5, taking my paycheck, not taking any risks, not trying to build my life. And after I read that book is when it all started for me. So that is definitely a good way to get started.
I think books are great. I mean, I don't read a lot anymore, but when I first started, I read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And the thing with that book is, I mean, I didn't read it, I listened to it, but that was not bad. I mean, it takes about 10 hours to listen to the book. And the catch of the book is you have to read it 3 times to understand it. And if
Yeah.
if you don't know if you're going to be successful, if you can read that book 3 times, you'll be fine. If you can take 33 hours out of your life to listen to a book, and because the big thing is it explains when it starts is the book will show different concepts and you only pick up about 25% of the book each time you read it. So I mean, realistically, you'd want to read it 4 times, 5 times to get it all. I didn't read it 4 or 5 times. I read it 3 times because it kind of explains that most people, they read this book the first time, nothing hits them. But once you read the book a few times, something clicks in your mind. And I don't know how to explain it. The book does a great job in like the first 10 pages. it kind of explains what I mean, but something clicks in your brain. I don't know how the fuck it does, just mind tricks. I don't know. It's bullshit, but it's crazy. It's crazy cool. And that's a great book you should read. I mean, it's old. I don't know how old is to you guys, but I think it's 20 years old, something like that. But it might be older than that. I think it's older than that because, well, the premise of it is the guy took 20 years to write the book, and it was back with Carnegie and everyone like that. So I'm pretty sure it's a lot older than that, but it's been redone, so it makes more sense, modern age wise, and read out loud. But the big thing with that book is it goes through all those stories, Carnegie, Ford, those kind of people, and it really, the pioneers of America, not just business owners, the pioneers of America and what made them successful. And
Yeah.
it's a great book. I mean, the first part of it is, I can't remember the initial guy, but guy approached Napoleon Hill and said, "Can you write this book? Take 25 years out of your life and write this book for me." Like, for me. I mean, your name will be on the book as the author, but you write it for me. And he took something like 30 seconds, or was it 25 seconds or something like that? And he said, yes. And then he said, well, that's good, because if you would have waited another 10 seconds, I would have revoked my offer, because any true man should be able to weigh his pros and cons within 45 seconds or something like that.
Well,
And yeah,
the answer to any question that somebody asked you. Like if I asked you right now, are you ready to change your life today? Like
let me think about that. Give me like 2 months.
Yeah, you have a natural response in your head. That answer as soon as you hear it. And for me, it was like, I have nothing to lose. Let's go. And most people are like, well, what would happen if this? They want the whole plan drawn out. And the truth is you just have to try. You just have to know what you're trying to do and just give it a shot. Everybody's good at something. Everybody has something to offer this world. Just don't wait. Don't hesitate. Just give it a shot. Give it a shot. You don't have to give up your home.
Yeah.
You don't have to, leave your family, move across the world. Like all you have to do is just give it a shot. Just 1 hour at a time, one day at a time, one thing at a time. And just, it might take you 10 years. It's taken me 15 years to become, who I am this year, and, I did it by one day at a time, man, 1 hour at a time, one decision at a time. And, they all didn't work out the way that I wanted. There were definitely times when I was like, this isn't going to work out. What am I doing with myself? Like, why did I go this way? But now looking back on those times, there was a unique purpose for me to go through that struggle. I learned something that I'm using in my business today to make me successful.
Exactly. And I think, I was just looking online. 16-year-old me would love to hear this. Take your new Xbox that, you can resell on eBay for fucking $800. Take that Xbox, sell it on eBay. I know, sell it, lowball it, so then you can get it out of the house in fucking probably an hour. Put it up for $750. Pocket 150 that, take 600. Just take that 150, pocket it, do whatever the fuck you want with it. Have some chill money, but don't over exceed that 150. Take that $600. Go start a business, go start an LLC. You don't need to be, I've started, multiple small businesses with younger age kids. You don't need to be 18. You don't need to have consent from your parents. I mean, what the fuck do they care? Most likely. As long as they're not liable, I don't think parents care. I don't know. I'm not, I don't have kids, and I don't know. But realistically, go start a business. Call probably, I had a lot of connections with lawyers before, but just call a lawyer. Say, hey, I want to do this. Can you set me up? Because most likely I wouldn't want you to go on, your website and then set it up yourself, because something's going to get messed up. So I'd rather you pay, 100 instead of 150, 170, 180 bucks, to get it done right the first time. And then, or reach out to us. I can help you get it set up. I'm not a genius when it comes to different states, but, take that $600, start a business, buy a domain. Domain's $20. Find a logo, design a logo. I don't know, pick up 15 t-shirts, 5 hoodies and a couple hats. And there you probably still have about $100 left, $150 left, probably more than that. I don't know. But take that and start what you want to do. Merchandise is one of the easiest ways to start a business. I mean, realistically, it's people wear clothes every day. You got to cater to them and figure out, you know, why people want to buy your stuff instead of going to Walmart and paying $2 for a shirt. I mean, most people don't want to go to
Well,
Walmart.
absolutely. I mean, the whole game of it is that you have to provide value to somebody. So, like, for example, if you're going to go the merchandise route and that's how you're going to make money, the way that I sell is that I don't sell to the end consumer. I sell to sellers that are going to sell. You know what I mean? So, like, if I'm selling lanyards for $1.50, I'm making money off that $1.50, and they're turning around and selling them to their people for $5, $10.
It's like the analogy of you're not going to get rich mining gold, you're going to get rich selling shovels.
Yeah, exactly. You have to provide somebody. Basically, what my business is all about is I'm not selling merchandise, I'm selling opportunity. And that's really what it boils down to. I'm selling somebody an opportunity to do something with their life. And more often than not, if I say that I've got this groundwork covered, then people are deciding to, hop on the train, because I've put in the 15 years to say this is taken care of. My side of the fence is golden. So now all you got to do is go out and sell yourself, be who you are, get people to follow in your vision, provide a value to them, like you're providing value right now with your podcast. I have people that provide, cooking templates. I have people that provide, motivation. I have people that provide, athletic, services. So it's like, as long as you're providing a service to somebody that somebody can use, and you attach the merch to it, you're able to make anything you want to make out of that.
I mean, exactly like I kind of said, people buy a story and people don't buy something. Oh, it looks cool. I mean, most of the time you think, oh, that looks cool. But, when it comes to Danny Duncan, okay, Virginity Rocks, okay, you're not buying it because, oh, it's a cool shirt. It says Virginity Rocks. No, you're buying it because it's Danny Duncan's merch. You're not fucking buying it because, it's a cool shirt. No, you're not. Don't fucking lie to me. Because if you're telling me that, you're lying to me. Any YouTuber, TikTok bullshit, I haven't seen anything like even Whistling Diesel shit. I mean, not shit, his merchandise. Realistically, to me, doesn't pop out. I mean, it's just his truck on a t-shirt, cartoon version of his truck on a t-shirt, whatever. Nothing crazy. People buy it because I mean, his stuff sells out like fast. I mean, all of his merchandise sells out, I don't know, within days of it dropping, if not hours.
Absolutely.
And people buy that because they can. And they want to be a part of something, especially with those limited releases. And I think, sometimes it's better to drop the limited releases, like Full Send and the Nelk Boys. They drop, they try to drop every month, but recently they just dropped one a 4-month break. And I don't know if they dropped it yet, but that thing's probably going to sell out within an hour or so. And there's probably 10,000 pieces on that, line. The big thing is adding that value, and you're buying a story. People buy Whistling Diesel shirts because they're Whistling Diesel shirts, not because he probably put a big old dick on the back and people would still buy them. I mean, they'd probably say, I'm a fucking the shirt could say, I'm a fucking idiot for buying this shirt because it costs $100, and he put 1,000 up on the website and they'd be gone in 2 hours. Like, what? I mean, he would, and they'd be gone. I mean, it's Whistling Diesel. That's why you're buying the shirt. You're not buying it because it looks cool. There's no one that can tell, oh, that's a cool shirt. No, you're not. You're buying it because it's Whistling Diesel.
Yeah. He's built a brand for himself, super successful, and he does his thing, which is great.
So, got a text. Your phone's about to die. What percentage you on?
Yeah. No, I just got I got a new phone, and it's got the wireless charger on it. It's a new 12, and my other chargers don't work on it. So I tried to throw it on the wireless one while we were talking, but it's not working.
All right. But yeah, I mean, start a business. It's not hard. I mean, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter. It's free. It's free. It doesn't cost money to start. It doesn't cost money for you to scroll through other people's brands and follow 150 people a day. It doesn't cost money to do that. It costs an hour of your time. I mean, not even that, realistically, probably 30 to 45 minutes. Do that. Follow a fuck ton of people. Like, people are gonna throw shade on you. I mean, we did it with Thunder Customs. I've done it with every brand I've ever run. I mean, it's people get people. I mean, people look at your shit. People are looking at your stuff, following them. You might not get a huge conversion rate starting out. I mean, follow 300 people, you'll probably get 40 to 50 follows back, but that's 30 to 50 you didn't have before. And that's almost guaranteed, especially if you find the right audience. Like, I don't know, if you're going to start a brand, don't go to Lions Not Sheep and follow a bunch of people, because I can guarantee you're probably not going to get a good enough conversion rate if you were to go to a brand that's a lot smaller. Go to someone that has like 300 to 350 likes a post. Follow everyone on that post. Do that once a day. And then, change up the post a little bit. And you'll gain followers. You will. You may have, 2,000 people following, only have 500 followers, but you have 500 followers now.
Yeah, it's just all about trying. That's really what it is. It's just all about, giving it a shot. You can't, if you don't try, you're never going to make it happen.
And, on that note, it's been a new episode, and, this is probably the most educational episode out of all of them. I mean, we talked about growing and, buying Instagram pages and running Instagram pages, but realistically, this is the side hustle. This is, dirty hands, clean money. This is a great way to start out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm super thankful to have an opportunity to kind of share my knowledge. I'm all about people helping people, giving back to the community. Everybody that probably listens to this has got some kind of aspirations towards, doing something for themselves. They're in it to learn, and I'm always here to help. That's really what it is. I'm gonna keep giving back until, I have nothing left to give.
Yeah, all of Levi's links will be in the description, everything like that. The business wise, we'll talk about that a little more. We'll come out with something here in a couple months, and we'll see what happens with that. That would be a fun project. It'll really just show people, each put 30 minutes in a day, nothing much, something that, realistically, you start with your buddy, you can each do 30 minutes a day, at lunchtime. You'd be set, but we'll work on that. But that's been the Dirty Hands Clean Money podcast. Like I said, all of Levi's links will be in the description, and yeah, go check them out. And if you need any more, help with merchandise or design and everything like that, he's got the hookups.
Yeah. I'll work at the shop, let's get creative.